Just start small because honestly, you look at the health and fitness space, especially if you hop on social media, and it can be very overwhelming. You have people telling you need to do keto, you need to track your macros, you need to hit 10,000 steps a day, you need to work out 5 to 6 days a week. And you're like, wait, where do I start though? Should I be doing all these things? And then you get paralyzed because you're like, I just don't know what to do. And so I try to encourage people to start small.
I'm Melanie Barr. Welcome back to the She Built It podcast, your go-to place to empower you to live the life and business that you crave. I'm here to talk about everything from having the courage to make life and career leaps to the details of how to lead effectively, create successful teams, implement strategies for growth, and infuse tech innovation. I'm here to celebrate your wins and navigate through your challenges. I live in the city now, but I grew up in a town of 1,000 people. I've navigated major life leaps, a senior level corporate career, worked in professional sports, and now as a successful entrepreneur who loves business, technology, family, and making meaningful connections with you and the She Built It community. I also love a good workout and dose of self-care. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. So turn up the audio, open your favorite notes app, grab your favorite drink, and here we go. Welcome back to the She Built It podcast. Thank you for joining us, Becky. You are a registered nurse, certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and marathon runner. Share with us a story behind becoming a nurse and launching your platform, Bex Lives Healthy.
I've been a nurse going on 13 years in May, which May is National Nurses Week. But
congratulations to all the nurses.
Growing up, I always wanted to help people. My mom pushed me in the nursing direction. I think she always wanted to become a nurse too, and she works at a GI center. After a while, especially heading into 2015, 2016, I started getting burnt out with nursing. I was new to Southern California then, and I fell in love with the lifestyle out here, just being outside year round, being able to run, walk the dogs, work out outside. It was so much easier to eat healthy here too. Everything was at your fingertips, whereas like back east, it's not necessarily like that. Love the lifestyle out here. I started training for marathons. And at that point, I was like, oh, I'm doing a good job at this myself. I think I want to help other people too on their health and their fitness journey. Around 2017, that's when I got certified as a trainer. And I still worked full time as a nurse then, but I went all into it in 2018 until the pandemic really, and focused on coaching mostly in person. I created a workout guide. My ex-boyfriend owned a gym in the South Bay, which was really convenient for building my business and content purposes and learning everything I could about fitness. And then COVID hit and I was like, maybe it's time to go back to nursing. So here we are doing both.
It's so great you help people. I am a mom of twins. And I ran a full marathon right before they were born. And then after having the twins, I didn't know if I'd ever run another one. And then I had a group of friends say, we're running a half marathon. And I thought, I've always wanted to run another one. So last year I ended up running 2 half marathons. But it's so great how you help your clients, because sometimes getting back into something can be hard, or we just need that little push or the help from someone to learn how to train differently than we trained before.
Yeah, having a coach is so valuable. I will always have a coach just because it's always somebody that I can learn from, who'll force me to be better too. I love helping people, whether it's in the hospital, my patients, or outside of the hospital in more of a preventative way. Right now, I mostly work with clients who are healthcare workers just because we spend so much time taking care of everybody else. It's nice to be able to give back to them too and teach them how to have healthy habits that are going to last a lifetime.
How do you integrate your background in nursing into your work as a nutrition coach and marathon runner?
Working as a nurse and being able to learn how to balance my lifestyle with fitness, nutrition. That's why I've dedicated time to helping other nurses or other healthcare workers, because I'm like, okay, I've got this down myself. Let me teach what I've learned throughout the years. I've done things right, I've done things wrong, but let me teach what I've learned along the way to my clients. That way they can show up better as nurses, as better coworkers, better for their patients, better for their loved ones.
I'm sure being a nurse is much like traveling all the time. It's hard to get in the nutrition and the workouts when you're working such long hours.
Yeah, your schedule is always changing too. You never know what you're going to walk into. So just a little bit of preparation will go a long way and set yourself up for success. Something that I try to teach my clients is embrace the flexibility. You don't have your typical Monday through Friday schedule, which is okay too. Some people don't want that. Always have a plan B too, because life happens and plan A doesn't always happen.
That's so true. What advice would you give someone who is looking to improve their overall health and fitness, but doesn't know where to start?
Just start small because honestly, you look at the health and fitness space, especially if you hop on social media, and it can be very overwhelming. You have people telling you need to do keto, you need to track your macros, you need to hit 10,000 steps a day, you need to work out 5 to 6 days a week. And you're like, wait, where do I start though? Should I be doing all these things? And then you get paralyzed because you're like, I just don't know what to do. And so I try to encourage people to start small with the little things, meet yourself where you're at too. And that's what I try to do with my clients, just meeting them where they're at. If they come in working out 2 days a week, we're not going to start at 5 days a week. That's just going to lead to burnout, injury, and then they're going to fall off the wagon too after a few weeks because it's just not going to be sustainable. So just starting small, meeting yourself where you're at and slowly building up is probably the biggest tip.
It's so true. And training for something is always different. Last year, when I was training for the 2 halves, I would run faster, but I would walk occasionally. This year, I'm going to go slower and be more sustainable. So, you know how you said start slow? Now I'm starting slow, but I can maintain the running without walking. So it's so interesting how it affects training and it affects the way you deal with your health and fitness.
I love that you bring in all these races too. It's so inspiring, especially as a mom. It's not easy when you have 2 kids at home. Yeah. So I give you so much credit.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know if I'd run another one because when they were little, they would get sick and then I would get sick and then it would mess with the training, but it feels really good to do it. And I've learned that I feel so much better when I'm running. You got to find that thing that you love to do where when you're done, you're like, oh, I feel amazing. It could be anything. It could be pickleball, whatever it is for you.
And like we live in such a beautiful place too, to be able to train.
As someone with expertise in both healthcare and fitness, what unique insights do you bring to your clients' wellness journeys?
Especially as a nurse, I've worked in the ICU for most of my career. I see what happens when people don't take care of themselves, unfortunately. And that's what I try to convey. It's not about losing X amount of pounds. Our clients come in with a weight loss goal, but it's really not about that at the end of the day. It's about building these healthy habits just to prevent those comorbidities down the road. We even saw with COVID, all the patients getting sick, those are the ones with heart failure, COPD, obesity, things like that. If we can start now and prevent those things, it's so important, that preventative aspect.
And I've also told myself I can do 5 to 10 minutes of weights, and that's going to move the needle. On days I can do more, but if I'm having a stressful day, I have started to do 5-minute meditations because that is life-changing for me in the morning with 2 kids and trying to get them out the door and then starting work and all the things. And then sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm doing 10 to 15 minutes of weights. That's all I can do. I know I'm going to feel better after doing that. So that's such good advice.
And I think just embracing, it's not that all or nothing mindset. You don't need to go in and do an hour and a half, like something over nothing. That's really all that matters. I have clients who have little kids too. Have them alongside of you, like working out, and see if you can get them to engage in it as well. And then if they get bored after 15 minutes, okay, at least you guys did something instead of nothing.
It took me a while to learn that too. It was hard for me because training for marathons, was used to going out and running at least an hour a day. And some days when I started training again, if I couldn't get that hour in, I would beat myself up a little bit, but I thought I can't do that. I have to be happy about what I've done because I've done something to move forward.
Yeah, that's hard too, as somebody who's ran marathons and like running all the miles, going in and hitting 10 to 15 miles on the Strand on the weekend, and then coming back and only doing 3 miles. It's not only, but in your mind, you're like, I only did 3.
Definitely in my mind. It was hard in the beginning.
Yeah. And I can get that way at times too, because I don't run like I used to. And I'm like, oh man, you only did 2.5, 3 miles, but it's something. It's better than nothing.
And you feel good.
Yeah.
Share with us a success story from your clients' transformations that stands out to you.
I recently had a client who she's an anesthesiologist. She's incredible. She's been with me for almost 2 years. And I give her so much credit balancing her busy job and her health and fitness. She's such a rock star. But she has friends coming up to her now, asking her about her training, asking her about nutrition. When my clients are rubbing off on their friends, their families, that's a win. Their friends don't have to work with me. As long as my clients, I see them instilling healthy habits in other people, that's a huge win. It's spreading the word, spreading the knowledge. I love that. I've also had another client who she's actually a dietitian, but after working with me, I inspired her to start building her own business with coaching women. I love that because it's like I've worked with so many coaches who have inspired me as well to start my own business. So it was cool to see one of my clients do the same thing.
And that's great that you're making a lasting impact and inspiring others to go further in their lives too.
At the end of the day, if I can teach them something like that, then I'm happy.
What are some common misconceptions people have about fitness and nutrition, and how do you address them in your coaching practice?
Trying to do it all. You have to work out 7 days a week. You have to work out for over an hour. You have to do all the HIIT workouts. You have to get 10 different exercises in a workout. That was something that I thought I had to do early in my health and fitness journey. I had to work out 7 days a week. There were no rest days. If it was a rest day, it was like a power yoga sculpt class down at Soho or something, when that's not a rest. In the beginning, everybody thinks you need to do more, but sometimes less is more too. And again, meeting yourself where you're at will set you up for success in the long run too.
Another thing I had to learn in thinking through training is in the morning, I usually do the 5-minute meditation because that really starts off the day. And then I have kids and now they're drop-offs for sports. It might be 3:30 to 5 and I have to drop off at 3:30 and pick up at 5. And in the past, I tried to fit the workout in the morning. Now I work straight through to 3:30 and then I'll drop them off and then I'll go run while they're doing what they're doing and then go back and pick them up. But it took a while to think, oh, that's where I can fit it in. So it's really interesting to look through your day because sometimes I think, oh, I have to do weights and cardio. You get that in your head. That's your workout time. But I had to say, it's okay to split them up.
Yeah, be flexible too, especially when you're in different seasons of life. I don't have kids, I'm not married, but when I am, things are going to look a lot different. You just have to go with the flow and be okay with moving workouts or moving the type of workout you're doing too. Maybe in one season you're in marathon training. The next season you might not be running marathons. Maybe it's a 5K season, or maybe you're more into weights in that season. So learning to be flexible and figuring out what season of life you are in too.
Yeah. And even if you travel or have a very demanding job, I'm in the season of kids, but someone else could be in the season of, I just have a very demanding job. I remember when I worked for the LA Dodgers, I worked 12 to 15-hour days. It was very hard to try to fit the workouts in.
Sometimes it's not realistic. Like when I'm at the hospital, I'm gone from 6 a.m. to 8:30 at night with traffic and whatnot. And I'm like, we're not working out on those days. So getting in a walk on campus at lunch, that is enough. But it took me years to get there and be comfortable with a walk on work days.
As a marathon runner, how do you balance training for endurance events with your professional responsibilities?
Just planning ahead. I don't run as much as I used to, but marathon training is like a full-time job. Treating it like a job, you need to put it into your schedule. You need to plan your work around it, things with your kids, things with your family. Treat those training sessions like appointments with yourself. Planning ahead is crucial.
Yeah. And when it comes to marathons, it's interesting because when I'm training, I write out a calendar and then I put it on the wall. I force myself to look at it and then I cross it off because then I've told myself I've already done it. But when I went to the last LA full marathon, it was so fun to see. My friend ran it for the first time, but then her uncle walked the whole thing. And so that's what I love about marathons too, is just finishing it and going that distance.
It's such an accomplishment. It really is. I love that you put the calendar up too, because it forces everybody else in the house to see it. So they're on the same page. Having this conversation with a client a little while ago, she's somebody who's struggling with weekends and how to navigate your health and fitness on weekends with friends. Tell your friends and your family your goals too. They're most likely going to be supportive of whatever you have going on. And if they're not, then maybe they're not like the friend that you thought they were either. Tell them your goals too. That way they can support you in getting up early to do a training run, or maybe getting out for a training run after a long day at work, or supporting you if you're carb loading, whatever it is. That way everybody is on board too. And you never know who you're going to inspire by your journey either.
It's funny because I put the calendar up in my office so no one really sees it, but that's good because now I might put it on the refrigerator so that my whole family, because it's not pretty, but it comes down after the few weeks of training, it'll be gone. But that's really good advice. So maybe I'll try to put it on the refrigerator so they know. What are your future goals and aspirations within the health and wellness industry? And how do you plan on continuing to make an impact in the lives of others?
So actually, this is a great question because I found out this morning I just got into school to become a nurse practitioner. So
congratulations.
Thank you. It all happened so fast. I applied Monday and I found out this morning. So that was quick, but I'm excited. I'm going to go back for my Psych MP. I just feel like it's my calling, and I think it'll go really well with coaching too. And I think it's just time to kind of level up in my nursing career. I've been a nurse for 13 years. I'm over bedside. I'm just really tired. It's the time to take the next step too.
So happy for you. We're all going to take a minute and celebrate with you. I've been watching some heavy shows on Netflix, and I watched Hank Med a long time ago, and it just randomly popped up on my feed again. And so I thought, oh, I'll watch that. And it's about a doctor that makes house calls and has a nurse practitioner with him. So fun, because that's what I've been watching at night. Just as something light. It's really light, and it's really a silly show, but it's...
I'll watch it. I'm all for. I love watching TV at night. I'm like, is this the one downtime that I have?
Yeah. I was watching something too heavy. You got to balance the heavy shows with the the light shows.
Some of that, like, and some reality TV and whatnot.
A little bit of everything. Magic happens when we focus on the part of ourselves and our business that brings us joy. What is one thing that you do each day to make sure that you find and live your joy?
I really try to romanticize the little things. Like my morning coffee is my favorite thing in the world. My morning coffee, or even just getting out for a walk, whether it's with my dogs on the Strand or a walk at work if I'm at the hospital. They're not big things, they're little things, but it's like the little things that truly bring me joy, because sometimes the day-to-day can be a lot too. When you're so work focused, you're so busy, you're like, wait, when do I have time for myself? Sometimes I don't even view working out as like time to myself anymore. It is, but it's a part of my routine. So I'm like, what are the little things that I can look forward to? And it's my morning coffee at home, or going to Two Guns around the corner for a latte or something. It's like those little things bring me so much joy. So
yeah, don't discount the morning coffee. So important and fun.
Yeah. And it's like, I started making lattes at home too. And I'm like, oh my God, I just leveled up my coffee at home. So
that's so fun. Thank you for joining us today and for sharing your love of health and fitness with the world. Can you please share with us how and where we can find you?
Find me on Instagram or TikTok, Bex Lives Healthy. And then my website is the same thing, Bex Lives Healthy. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me at hello@shebuiltit.com, on our She Built It website, or at She Built It on social. Thank you to my editor, Rich Streffolino, who always makes us sound good. Until next time, let nothing stop you from experiencing the life and business that you crave.